In a few seconds. Just use a total number there.
I see. You gave me everything I need. All right, tell me when I'm good to start.
Okay.
Is anybody watching yet?
I haven't posted it. Gotta give me some time. That's why I started a little early.
Bear.
Okay, so you maybe got one watch. Oh, that's just me. Never mind. Yeah, there's 2 people watching now.
Hi, second person.
And I'm posting it to Discord. Five people. Fife is in. Terry Hatch is in. Deanna Whitney's in. And you technically got 2 minutes before you're supposed to start, so.
All right, I can wait a minute.
You can entertain the masses.
I'm not good at that. I can start telling knock-knock jokes, but there's no one here to say who's there.
Oh, I could tell you who says it. So far, everybody's saying hello.
Oh, hi. Why couldn't my hair have looked this good during the panel with Rafe yesterday? Oh, yeah, because I just got out of the shower like 5 minutes before it happened.
Yeah, well, you know. Chris Cottingham says who's there.
Dwayne.
There's a bit of delay. Dwayne who?
Dwayne the bathtub, I'm drowning.
Wow.
I teach middle school. I can go all day.
We only need to shower once a week in quarantine is his comment.
I mean, that's between you and whoever you're living with, really.
So bad, so bad, so bad.
Is that you or the comments?
The comments are talking about, they finally got the Dwayne joke.
Do they want another one?
No, because it's 6 o'clock.
Sweet, I can stop killing time. Okay, hey guys, thanks for being patient while we waited until it was actually time to start. This is the JordanCon Awards kind of wrap up thing for the weekend. I want to say how much I appreciate all of the volunteers who've worked so hard to put together this event. We had a very short time to put it together, and this is definitely not our usual expertise. There is a big difference between putting together an online event and one that is in person the way we normally do. So special thanks to everybody who participated in getting this off the ground. If I name names, I'm going to inevitably leave out someone who is important. So I'm going to just, you know who you are, you know what you did, and you know how much I love you and appreciate you. So this has been kind of a weird couple weeks, months, however long we've been dealing with this. Time really has no meaning anymore. And I'm glad that I got to be distracted for a couple of days. You know, coronavirus. What?
This has been requested.
Oh, okay. Here, it doesn't really fit on the edge of the table here.
Figure it out.
God damn it, Jimmy. Okay, there. All right. All right. So yeah, this has been a weird couple months. I'm glad that I got to be distracted. Coronavirus takes up a significant amount of real estate in my brain most of the days. You know, I'm kind of a worrier by nature. And so I don't like this here. I'm going to kill it. Okay. All right. So yeah. So now that I keep trying to say something profound, but Jimmy keeps putting things in front of me. So, this is definitely not the weekend we wanted to have, but I think it's the weekend we needed right now. I feel like I've been expending a lot of my emotional energy, being supportive to my coworkers, being supportive to my students, being supportive to my friends and my family. And I felt like I got some of that support back this weekend from all of you at JordanCon, whether you were in an official role at the convention, helping us put together the JordanCONline programming, or if you were just being silly with me in the Facebook group, or you danced with us at the dance party, or any of the other many ways you had to participate in JordanCONline this weekend. I hope that you feel that same kind of fullness right now, that you feel like you've been emotionally supported, that you've gotten what you needed out of this, because I certainly needed this. So JordanCon is a charitable event. We are a 501c4 organization, and so part of that was doing some fundraising this week on behalf of the Mayo Clinic, which is our official charity. Our total for charity this year was $1,387 total. $777, oh, that's a nice number, came from Celebrity D&D yesterday, and the rest were individual donations. So that was $610 from individual donations. Clearly, this is not our biggest number for the Mayo Clinic, but considering the circumstances, considering that people just don't have money right now, and if you do have money, you're probably trying to hang on to it. The fact that people are able to be that generous speaks a lot about the JordanCon community. And so I think the Mayo Clinic is going to appreciate it no matter how big or how small it was. And it just kind of shows that we're a really generous group of people who are willing to support others during this time. So let's start talking about the awards. So JordanCon gives out 3 awards every year. We give out, they're called the Hero of the Horn Awards. And we give one to an individual who supported JordanCon, usually in a volunteering capacity, a professional who's supported JordanCon, usually by being a guest at the convention and contributing a lot via programming that way, and then a group who has contributed a lot to JordanCon. You know, the fan groups really support JordanCon. We probably could not be where we are without so many wonderful fan groups supporting us. And so we like to recognize the ones that have done, have made JordanCon kind of their home away from home and contributed their sense of community to our sense of community. Okay, so the first one I want to recognize is the group award. And so the Hero of the Horn this year goes to the Wheel of Time Tour.com rereaders group. So you guys are an amazing group of people. You volunteer at the convention, you serve as track directors, you serve as volunteers, you've been panelists for us. God, I can't even name all the things that members of the Wheel of Time rereaders group have done for us. You guys you rock it, and you help make JordanCon what it is. And we just appreciate you guys so much that you put your time and your energy into our wacky. I got something in my mouth. Okay. God, I'm bad at this. Okay.
You need more sleep.
Yeah, that's not going to happen for a while. Okay, so our second award is to a professional. So this is the JordanCon Hero of the Horn Award presented to Tony Westkoff. And Tony, if you have not gotten a chance to meet her at JordanCon yet, is the editor and publisher of Baen Books, one of the last independent publishing houses still active. They mainly focus on science fiction, especially what's kind of known as hard sci-fi or military sci-fi. And like basically their books are kick-ass explosions and just awesomeness. So she has been one of the supporters of JordanCon since the very beginning. We invited her to be a guest at JordanCon, I think about year 3 or 4. I don't quite remember when we finally got hooked up with her. But she was one of the first non-tour, non-epic fantasy people to come on board with JordanCon. And you really can't have a convention in the Southeast without Tony. Like Tony is just, she's a foundational figure in Southern fandom. Like you just can't have a convention unless Tony's there. And so it really means a lot to us that she supports us, that she's here with us every year, that she's able to be. She's just fantastic. And if you don't get a chance to meet her, please go to the Baen Traveling Roadshow that we have at JordanCon every year, because she's usually there handing out free books and letting you know kind of what Baen has up and coming this year. And she's just a wonderful person to have connected to a convention, and just a wonderful person as a person. So if you haven't met her yet or become familiar with her work, now's the time. The last person we want to recognize our individual volunteer. And last year we renamed this award in honor of Steve Godecki, who was a volunteer at JordanCon before he passed away. And so this is the Steve Godecki Hero of the Horn Award. And we are giving it to Tiffany Franklin this year. So Tiffany Franklin, I've known Tiffany for a long time. She was the Mistress of Novices when I was the Amaryllis Dragonmount. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I think Tiffany was probably one of the best Mistress of Novices I ever had. And I had a lot. Yeah, just her energy, her drive. Like, I think her hand is made out of helium, because every time you say, hey, can someone do something for me? The hand just kind of rises up by itself. And yeah, she was one of my first people to sign up for JordanCon. She ran, I think, volunteers for a couple of years before we started the fantasy track, and she was the person who kicked that off. She is just phenomenal, like not just JordanCon, but she's also very active in this SCA. She's a fellow school teacher. She's a mom. She volunteers in many local community organizations outside of JordanCon. And we're just incredibly grateful that she has so much energy and she's willing to expend part of it on us. It's been a rough year for Tiffany personally. So this felt like the right year to recognize her for all of her accomplishments for JordanCon and all the work that she's done for us. And so Tiffany, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. It means the world to me personally, and it means the world to JordanCon. Okay, so those are all of our awards right now. Normally we do, we recognize the 10-year volunteers, but we'll just do that next year. So Jimmy, are there any questions from the chat? And anybody want to ask me a question about JordanCon? Usually we do like a kind of a post-mortem thing at the end of JordanCon, but I guess if you guys want to ask me questions right now, you can.
Hold on, I'll ask.
Okay. So while Jimmy's in the chat trying to figure out what's going on, one of the things that I have been asked a lot in the last month or so is JordanCon in any trouble because we had to cancel this year? And the answer to that is no. We were incredibly lucky. The hotel accepted our cancellation without any argument whatsoever. We all understood the situation. We do not owe anything to the hotel at this time. And we hadn't really started spending money yet on this year's JordanCon at the point where we canceled, and we hadn't bought anything that we pre-ordered at that point. We could cancel the order pretty quickly. The only things that we had spent money that could be refunded on were some administrative stuff, like insurance policies and things like that. And so really we're not out any money. So all the money you guys gave us for your registrations and vendors tables and art shows and whatever, that's just going to sit in the bank until we have JordanCon next year. So we thank you so much for supporting us and being curious as to whether or not the convention is healthy. We're incredibly healthy at this point. You know, assuming that everything is fine 12 months from now, we should have a kick-ass JordanCon.
All right. So are you sure you want to answer some of these questions?
I mean, sure. If you ask me a question I don't want answered, I'll just say so.
Does this count as a JordanCon for numbering / years?
That's a good question. I haven't really decided yet, because it does kind of mess things up. Yeah, I think we have to have a conversation about how we're going to count things. You know, that I don't know yet.
Can you make it suck more so it's easier to choose which tracks to go to?
No.
How do you recover from this awesomeness and go back to real life?
Well, luckily I don't have to go to work tomorrow morning. Well, I do have to work, but I can I don't have to do anything to get ready for work. I just have to open my laptop. So that helps a lot. Typically I have to take a couple days off around JordanCon so that I can recover. And then I spend a lot of time on the internet where all of you people live, because I'm not good at interacting with people in person most of the time.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized horses?
I'm going to go with a horse-sized chicken because I am allergic to horses, and that feels like it would give an unfair advantage to the smaller horses.
All right, good question. When the show gets started, the fan base is likely to expand. Will the con grow, or will we keep it small and intimate?
So that is an active conversation between me and Jimmy, between me and the board of directors, and between me and the senior staff of JordanCon, because we want to keep JordanCon feeling like family, right? But also we want to recognize that our family is going to grow quite a bit. So that's one of the reasons why we created the position of new member services last year, because that's one of the ways that we can kind of keep that feel of JordanCon as like, we're something special and unique. Having someone whose role it is within the organization to actively communicate what our ideals and our values are to people coming into the group is one of the ways that you perpetuate that feeling that the group has. Logistically, we are under contract with the same hotel for the next couple years. We do have a contract that gives us some additional space. If you're familiar with the La Grada area that's down by the writer's track, that's going to be part of JordanCon next year. We have not officially decided yet what's going to go in there. So expect us to see us shuffle some things around to kind of make things fit a little better and take advantage of that new space. But we are actively thinking about how we're going to make sure that everybody comes to JordanCon and feels like it's still JordanCon. We do think that at some point we're going to have to move to a different hotel, but we're at kind of a weird point where we're not quite big enough to move to the next step up, which is a hotel in downtown Atlanta. We're not ready to play with the big boys yet. So, after that, we'll see. We got a couple years to figure this out. Who knows when the TV show's coming out right now. So we'll just see.
Okay, so will this maybe lead to an online portion of JordanCon for future years?
Some people have floated the idea of maybe continue to do some online content. I'm not opposed to the idea right now, but I just want to make sure that we're very thoughtful about how we integrate that into JordanCon. I think doing some online events definitely has some value, and we've seen that value this weekend in terms of how we've been able to expand our reach and include more people who wouldn't be able to come to an in-person event. But on the other hand, I want to make sure that we're not putting undue stress on our volunteers, that what we do is thoughtfully done and of high quality. We don't want to just throw a bunch of stuff out there just because we can. We want to make sure that whatever we do really embodies the JordanCon spirit. And I think we did a really good job of that this weekend. We just want to make sure that whatever we do going forward kind of fits in with that mentality, that ethos.
There was a really good follow-up question is, do you think virtual things will be incorporated into future JordanCons?
I mean, at this point, I can't really answer that question. Originally at JordanCon, we did try to live stream parts of JordanCon, but that was a decade ago and the tech really wasn't there and people weren't used to doing a lot of live streaming events online. I think that when the technology has really evolved and has also come down a lot in price, like you have no idea how much it used to cost to do something like that compared to how much we could spend on it this weekend. Just huge difference. But also, I think one of the societal shifts I think we're going to see after COVID-19 is that people are going to be more reluctant to go places, to be in large crowds. And so it might be to our benefit and to the benefit of those people who are reluctant to travel or who are unable to travel because of health concerns, to have some online events available for them. Whether that's going to be something we put out there for free like we did this weekend, or whether we do some kind of streaming membership or something like that. We have not even begun to discuss that. But those are things that we can consider moving forward.
So with the growth possibility, will the growth possibility cause issues with tickets selling out?
So there is a hard limit on how many people we can fit into a building, right? I mean, there's going to be a point where the health and safety of our membership is more important than trying to include everybody. And the capacity of the Ravinia, we haven't hit it yet. And adding the La Grata space gives us even more wiggle room. So as long as our growth continues to be kind of a slow and steady growth and doesn't go and explode next year, which I don't know. I think it's going to be hard to predict that. But as long as things kind of move in the direction we're projecting them to, we'll be fine as far as being able to fit everybody into the space. If it looks like we're going to run out of space, then that would be the point where we would start capping memberships, just because there's only so many people we can cram into a hotel lobby.
Do you want to answer the question with the badges being transferred to next year and pre-registration remaining open? How close are we to max capacity?
I don't know that off the top of my head. That's something I could look up later, but it's not really to JordanCon's benefit to have that number out there. It would cause kind of an undue panic. People would worry that they were going to be able to get into JordanCon. There'd be a rush on memberships from people who might be coming, but don't know for sure that they're coming. So we've got some wiggle room to play with, especially with adding the new La Grata space. So don't worry about it till I tell you to be worried about it.
Okay, change of pace question. What do you plan on drinking tonight?
I'm taking prescription medication right now, so I cannot drink alcohol. So I will have a celebratory sparkling water.
I'll drink the gin for you.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate your selflessness.
Matt Hatch asked, where should JordanCONline attendees provide feedback about their experience?
So Ola, who is our director of analytics, is putting together a survey, very quick, very general Google form survey. And that is sitting in my inbox right now, waiting for approval. And so as soon as I do that and she finishes like the little tweaks that she needs to make to it, we will get that out. So look for it probably sometime this week, maybe even tomorrow at the earliest. I don't know what Ola's day looks like. But we do want your feedback about this week, and we're going to ask you about that.
Okay, moving on down. What about the nonprofit aspect? Will that be affected after the show starts and the audience grows?
No. If anything, I envision us having even more capacity to fundraise for the Mayo. We generally average about $10 per capita at JordanCon in terms of fundraising. other much bigger conventions than us, who have a much bigger dollar amount they donate to their charities, they're only getting $1 per person at their convention. We're getting $10 per person. So if that trend continues, I think we're going to, and I think the Mayo Clinic is going to continue to love us.
Okay. Are you going to announce the guests of honors for next year?
Oh, thank you. I almost forgot to do that. Okay, so yes, I am excited to announce that our author guest of honor for next year is Marie Brennan, who is the author of the Lady Trent Dragon Researcher series. I'm probably messing up the name of that, but she is a fantastic author. We are big fans of her, and we think that she's going to be a fantastic guest of honor for JordanCon. Our artist guest of honor is going to be Mark Poole. He is known for his Magic the Gathering artwork, and since we have a pretty good Magic community at JordanCon, we thought he'd be a good fit for us here. We have not confirmed a Toastmaster yet, but I have someone in mind who's a pretty strong candidate. I just need to confirm with this person that they are willing to be Toastmaster next year. And then we'll be able to officially announce them as well.
How much do you love cheese?
Oh man, cheese is just the best. I mean, it just is.
That's so far no other questions. Oh, do you want to talk about the theme and how we're keeping it for the same?
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I do usually announce the theme at the end of the convention. So because we know that people had invested a lot in their costumes for this year, and also like y'all like to give each other little trinkets and things like that that have to do with the theme and like the badge ribbons and whatever. Like we didn't want those resources that you had expended into that to have gone to waste. So we're gonna keep the theme. It's still gonna be Con of Legends next year. We're still gonna do kind of a quasi steampunky kind of thing. And so that if you've done something cool that you want to save for next year, you will be able to do that.
Can we get postcards in a few months, or like you usually have save the date cards? Is there a way to distribute save the date cards?
Mailing things out is logistically difficult. It is wildly expensive we're not a big enough organization to qualify for bulk mailing. So we don't get that discount. And so like having to actually like put a stamp on everything is not going to happen. I'm just not going to. I'm sorry to disappoint all of you.
So what happens to this year's guest of honor?
So Faith and the Gerards, Faith Hunter and Annie and Justin Gerard, they have agreed to be our guests of honor for a future year, and we'll announce them when it's appropriate.
Off the topic question, what are you reading now?
I just finished The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, and it was fantastic. The next book I'm planning to read is I'm going to do a reread of the first 2 books of John Scalzi's Interdependency trilogy, and then I'm going to read the final book in that series because Jimmy just got it in the mail a couple days ago, and I think he's almost done, so I can start reading it soon.
That's not funny, April Butler. When is Jimmy going to finish Wheel of Time?
Never.
Let me see if there's any other questions. So there's an idea about having the save the date card saved as a PDF and then having people print it and distribute it. Is that something possible?
You guys, we can totally do that. That's fine. I'm just not going to sit here and lick stamps and put them on something and send them out. And I'm not going to ask anybody else to do that because good Lord, like, no. There's a lot of you people.
So are we going to continue allowing public access to the JordanCon Discord channel?
That's a conversation we haven't had yet. I don't know. There's some pluses and minuses to it. Like there's something to be said for just keeping it to people who are already part of the JordanCon community, because then it's everybody who gets it, right? But also having it open publicly means that people who could become part of the JordanCon community would be able to kind of join us and check us out that way. So
I will say there are people on Discord that I've seen that I don't see on Facebook, and then vice versa. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. That's something we can talk about as a staff at some point.
Okay. Susan Martin asks, do you have any recipes for sourdough?
So I tried making sourdough on purpose. If you've seen my Facebook post about doing it on accident when I was a kid, but I tried making sourdough on purpose a few years ago, and sourdough is like a finicky bitch. Like I don't want to deal with it. Like it's so hard to work with, and it's so unreliable, and so like it's just chaotic. And I understand that's part of the appeal for a lot of people, but I don't have time in my day to sit there and like feed like a microbe and make it do my bidding. So no, I don't have any sourdough recipes. I know the internet's full of them. I am waiting for yeast to come back in stock, and then I can start baking bread and things like that.
Let's see. What is the airspeed of an unladen swallow?
African or European?
What they didn't specify. And what's your favorite type of bread?
The kind I'm eating right now.
Who is your favorite officer and why is it Jeffrey Daniel?
Jeff, do you need a hug or something?
We love Jeff. We missed him this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of my very best friends are volunteers at JordanCon or people who I know through JordanCon in the Wheel of Time fandom. And you know, it's rough not being around you guys right now. I look forward to this all year, and it was great, but it wasn't what I had originally planned. So
all right,
that's just
back to
life.
JordanCon. Any thoughts on the cast crew guests at future JordanCons, or would that be left for larger conventions? Apologize if this has been asked already.
No, this is a good question, and I don't mind answering this one as many times as it takes. So there's a difference between a literature convention and a media convention. And we've been able to stay a strictly literature convention for a decade, and that's kind of our identity. That's who we are. The bigger media conventions like DragonCon and Comic-Con and whatever, they have a different vibe than we do. DragonCon still feels like a community, and I think that's something the senior directors there have worked very consciously on. But a lot of those other conventions, they feel like a meat market, right? Like they feel like they're just trying to sell you stuff. They feel like it feels like you're just there to get autographs, and there's no real interaction between you and the guests and other fans. It's just, you know, you go there, you'll stand in a line, you get an autograph, you spend your money, you're in the back of a large panel room, like, you know, 100 feet away from anybody cool. And that just doesn't feel like JordanCon. There's also some economic financial considerations in big media conventions. Generally, media people need appearance fees in order to attend something like this. And those appearance fees, depending on the stature of the person, can be considerable. And we're just not financially equipped to do appearance fees. Like that's just not something we budget for. If we had to include that in our budget, we would have to raise prices considerably or not offer some of the services that we offer currently. So I have no plans to turn us into a media convention. That just doesn't feel like us. But if Amazon or Sony or whoever decides that they want to send us cast members and creatives from the show on their dime to participate in JordanCon, then that's something that was definitely something we'll entertain, because we want to make sure we're giving you guys what you want from JordanCon, as you know, as feasibly as we can. And we want to make sure that they understand that they're coming to JordanCon on our terms, not theirs. Like they're coming to JordanCon, not San Diego Comic-Con. So the expectation for what we want them to do and how to interact with us might be different. But also we want to respect their autonomy and their privacy and whatnot. So there's some conversations that need to be had before we can say definitively what cast and crew might look like at JordanCon. We know that it's something that you guys really want, and we want to give you what you want, but we want to make sure that we do that in a way that feels like JordanCon and not some giant 100,000 person convention.
So what about if they decide to come up with their own? I think you kind of answered that. What about branding?
What about Brandon? What do you want to know about Brandon?
How about him coming to JordanCon?
Oh yeah, so Brandon can come to JordanCon anytime he wants. He's our favorite, right? So Brandon comes to JordanCon. I think he's coming like every 3 years now. So next year should be a Brandon year for us if everything goes according to plan. So Brandon chooses when he comes to JordanCon. He has an open invitation to come to JordanCon and participate in anything we want. He did reach out to us about doing some things for JordanCONline, but we weren't able to work out scheduling with him. The time difference plus Brandon has like a weird sleep schedule and family obligations, professional obligations, and so we weren't able to make it work. But it was definitely something both parties were interested in. And so like Brandon can just do whatever he wants with us. Like that's literally how we talk to Brandon every year when he comes. It's like, say, hey, Brandon, what do you want to do this year? And then he sends us a list and we try to make it happen.
I like the off-topic questions after serious questions. And this was kind of an inside joke, but do you believe in John, the DragonCon UPS man? I think he was FedEx, but
Yeah,
who I'm
he was
talking
the FedEx guy. Yes. The Cult of John was one of my favorite things that went wildly out of control at DragonCon this year. If you're not familiar with it, there was a cardboard stand-up of a FedEx guy, and the Marriott has like a FedEx thingy in their lobby, and so there was a cardboard cutout of a FedEx guy, and people started adorning it with various things. It started off with googly eyes, and then stickers, and then lays, and then offerings, and at one point, like it started migrating around the convention and like showing up in different hotel lobbies. And it's that is one of the things I love about fandom and conventions is we just have like this silly energy, and there's a lot of things that are being done for no reason at all, except that it's going to make somebody laugh and feel like they're having a good time. And so the Cult of John is one of those very silly, very random, like useless in any other context kind of things that I just love. And I loved every time I walked past that stupid cutout and saw like it had more stuff drawn on its face or whatever.
So talking about the our process of approaching guests, have we ever approached N.K. Jemisin?
There's a lot of people that we've approached. I don't want to specifically call out anybody as like we've approached them and they've said no to us. Generally, when someone says no to JordanCon, it's for a very good reason. That they've got a schedule that doesn't allow for them to attend that year. They've got some other obligation that they have to meet during that time. But generally when we have gotten a no from someone, it's a no, but ask again later. And so there are several really great authors who are on our ask again later list. And so, if you've asked for someone, we've probably asked them and they're on the ask again later list.
What's your favorite animal?
Pandas.
Pandas.
Pandas. Mm-hmm.
The black and white one or the red ones?
I mean, the red ones are cute and all, but God, the black and white giant pandas, they are just so useless. They won't even like procreate to save their own species. Like we have to do it for them because they're just so bad at survival. And I want to be that someday. I want to be just so bad at taking care of myself that I just have to lay around and people bring me food and like just perform all of my basic functions for me, and then be beloved for it and not, made fun of. And like, I want to be cute and cuddly and lazy and somebody just do everything for me.
They will procreate, just stop watching. So who is your dream guest?
Oh man. The one that we can never have, which would be Robert Jordan. I have a lot of regret that we were never able to hold a JordanCon within Jim's lifetime, that he was never able to attend a JordanCon and get to hang out with us and participate in our shenanigans. I think he would have loved us.
Can we get Henry Cavill? He's reading Watt. I'm joking, but I'm not.
I know you're not really joking. Yes, Henry Cavill is a big Wheel of Time fan. He is also a huge nerd. I think he'd have a good time with us. But again, he's got those pesky appearance fees, and I don't even want to ask what his is.
Have you thought about doing an overflow hotel again if we need it?
Yes, that is definitely something that is something we keep kind of on the back burner. The host hotel, the Ravinia, is allowing us to add a lot more people to our room block there. I think under the new contract, we get something like 50% of the hotel's rooms or more. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head.
We practically doubled our room space. So
Yeah, so I think we have room for everybody at the Ravinia, but overflow hotel space is something that we can look at if we need it. We also, when we were trying to figure out like how can we expand JordanCon in a thoughtful way, even looked at trying to hold JordanCon across 2 hotels, kind of DragonCon style, where they split it up amongst different hotels. And I don't want to play that game right now. So, but yeah, that's definitely something we considered at one point when we were trying to figure out how to grow JordanCon in a thoughtful, mindful way.
Henry Cavill should be a participant, not a guest.
I mean, he can do whatever he wants if he wants to buy a badge like that, whatever. Like, is that it?
we start reserving rooms for next year.
As soon as we have the link from the hotel to put on the website, we will do that. They generally give us that link, I want to say June. So look for that sometime this summer. We'll make sure to put it on our social media and through the email blast as well.
This is kind of a touchy subject for me, but I'm going to let you see if you can answer it. Will I be able to hug as many people as possible next year?
I mean, we can get you a glove full of more meat. So I don't know. That's one of those questions that I'm not the one who gets to answer those. That's COVID-19's deal. So I want us to be able to have JordanCon the way that we've been having it, where we can hug our friends, where we can be close with each other physically and emotionally, the way we've become accustomed to. That really depends on a lot of things that I have absolutely no control over at this point. The best I can do is stay indoors and keep washing my hands. So that's a question we'll know in 12 months.
All right. Who's more underrated, Hurin or Rhiannon Corley?
I'm going to say Rhiannon Corley.
How long is the con suite open for?
Well, the con suite's in your heart, so as long as you want it to be.
People are offering to buy Henry Cavill a badge and a hotel room. He'll have to share it with them, but I think that's a consensus.
I mean, that's between you and Henry Cavill at this point, so JordanCon has no control over that.
Kickstarter or GoFundMe to get Henry Cavill possible?
Guys are very hopeful about a lot of things.
How amazing is the comms team?
Pretty amazing. You guys, like, you help us look really good and professional, like we know what we're doing, even if we're running around with our hair on fire behind the scenes. Like, the comms team makes us look like we know what we're doing. So I am always appreciative of that.
Are the dates for next year's JordanCon still April 23rd to 25th?
Yes.
I'm just waiting for the Henry Cavill comments to move past. See if there's any other
move on,
questions.
guys. Move on.
So how was it to be in the same chat room with Rafe?
That was a lot of fun. I know some of you guys have seen the picture I took of my screen at the beginning of that panel, so I could have my selfie with Rafe. That was very fun. It was something that I did not anticipate happening this weekend. I found out that he was interested in being on the panel a couple hours beforehand. Like, I literally woke up and looked at my phone and saw a message saying, "Hey, Rafe wants the link to the Zoom chat." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, that was a big surprise for me, and hopefully for y'all as well.
Jen Austin says the actual dates are April 22nd to the 26th. And I was like,
I don't have a calendar in front of me. I don't even know what day it is right now.
it's work at home day.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the dance party close down so early at 6:20 a.m.?
You people are animals.
So what would you have asked Rafe that you didn't get to ask if you could ask him anything?
So a lot of the questions that I have that I can't ask right now are about specific things. Like just as much as anybody else, I want to know what's made it into the adaption and what's been cut out and how they've consolidated things and what the plans are going forward. Like I want to know the nitty gritty, like the minutia of it as much as anybody else. But like Daniel said in the chat yesterday, I also kind of want to be surprised by the show. And that's kind of mindset I'm putting myself into. Like I know the story, but I don't know how it's going to be told this time. It's like watching, it's like if you've read the comic books and then you go watch MCU movies, like it's the same, but it's different. That's kind of how I feel about Wheel of Time. I want to know all the details about how it's going to happen, but I also want to have that surprise when I'm sitting down to watch it.
A great question about the artwork for JordanCONline. Is it possible for merch based on this year's graphics? They really love them. A pin or something would be great.
I love the artwork as much as anybody else. Catherine Reed did the artwork for us, and she's just phenomenal. And she put it together in such a short amount of time for us. So I want t-shirts and pins and mugs and whatever with all this really cute stuff on it. The issue with doing that is purely logistical. It is how do we create the merchandise? How do we sell it to you? How do we collect the funds and how do we get it out to you? And I know there's like some print on demand options and things like that, but we really haven't looked into doing any of that. I mean, so it's possible, but not probable that'll happen. But I don't know, maybe we'll look at it if we, recover from this weekend.
Chris Cunningham asks, when does JordanCONline start next weekend?
So Chris, one of my favorite things post JordanCon is all your posts in the JordanCon Facebook group about how you're complaining about how the JordanCon has ended and you're somehow unaware of it, and you keep complaining that the panels are wrong and the con suite is empty. And like I'm really looking forward to how you do that this year. So don't disappoint me because you are one of my favorites.
Can you imagine being able to have an episode premiere party at JordanCon 2021?
Oh God, that'd be like fantastic. Yeah, that would be just amazing. I definitely, I am hopeful that Amazon will give us some kind of exclusive JordanCon thing next year. If they have something, if something exists, I think we'll get it.
JordanCONline t-shirt pay and pick up at the con next year?
I mean, that's possible. To do that, I have to talk to some people who are not on this right now. So I can talk to merchandising and finance and see if that's something that is worth our time to do. I'm not saying no, but I'm also not saying yes definitively.
Will the link for the donations to the Mayo Clinic stay up on the website?
I think we're going to take it down at some point just because we don't want to have to keep monitoring to see if money is coming in that we need to transfer over to the Mayo. That does take some people points, and I don't want to have to task a volunteer with something that doesn't need to, that we don't normally make them do. What was that?
Will
Honey?
we announce a cutoff date?
Yeah, we can announce a cutoff date for it. I guess we can keep it running for the next couple days, maybe throughout the week. I'll ask Amanda.
With the tremendous success of JordanCONline, will there be another online event in the fall to get our fix until April?
That's a good question. And I would be lying if I said the thought had not occurred. So we have it. Yeah, so the thoughts occurred to me, and I know the thoughts occurred to some other people. Again, I'm not saying no, but I'm not definitively saying yes either. There's a lot of pieces that have to come into place for us to be able to continue to offer online content. And we also run into the fact that I also work DragonCon. I'm a track director there, and a lot of other volunteers at JordanCon also volunteer at DragonCon in various capacities, and volunteer at other events and things like that, and have other commitments throughout the year that might preclude us being able to offer something in the fall. So that's something we can look at, because we do think we've been very successful this weekend. But it's not something that we are definitively saying yes to.
Will we do Celebrity D&D again next year?
I think so. The plan was to do it at JordanCon this year, as part of the in-person convention. So that was something that was already on the docket, and we just kind of adapted it to be online and to work as a fundraiser. And so, yeah, we definitely want to do that. I think the Celebrity D&D went very well. I don't know if we want to do it as a fundraiser again next year, how that would work in a live in-person event. But yeah, there's definitely some things that we did this weekend that we want to continue moving forward.
So Richard wanted to mention there is a fall con called Multiverse.
Yes, that was the other one. I knew there was some other con and I just couldn't remember the name. So yes, Multiverse is the other con that a lot of us are committed to.
And Conjurations.
And Conjurations, like there's a lot of conventions around Atlanta and in other places as well.
We're going to wait and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
How can regular people help or volunteer between now and the next con?
Reach out to volunteering@jordancon.org. That is, that email goes straight to Greg Fanero, who is our volunteer coordinator, and he will put you on his mailing list and let you know when volunteer opportunities pop up. We also, on our website, we have a thing called staff openings. One of the things that we do that I really like about JordanCon is we don't just kind of pick our friends to run things. It's not like a whisper network or anything like that to get a position of influence at JordanCon. We take applications. And so yes, it's unpaid, but we treat it like a real process with, we ask you to turn a kind of a resume kind of thing. And we do an interview with you. Just because we want to make sure we're picking the best person for the job and not the person who we just happen to be friends with already. And this has led to some really good people that needed to have this job because they were the best and I didn't know about them. So we have that on our website, and there are some positions that are still actively open right now that we weren't able to fill before April. And so if you see something that you're interested in, please reach out to us and let us know.
Point out that having specific skills help.
Yes. Yeah. The things we advertise for on the website require specific skills. That's one of the reasons we advertise for those positions rather than to say, sure, come in the general volunteer pool and we'll figure you out. Yeah, we need specific skills in certain areas. Here, you guys can all watch me eat a cough drop, because this is a lot of talking. Menthol.
I'm just watching you doing gang signs here.
What am I doing?
There's a delay from me talking to you, so it's coming on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So
When was I doing gang signs?
you did this drop thing. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
You have to show me a picture later.
Just go to the YouTube link.
I'm busy right now.
All right, looks like there's no more questions, so go ahead and do closing statements.
I only have a closing statement. Sorry, guys, you've tapped me out.
Well, say goodnight, everyone.
Yeah, I love you and I miss you, and I hope to see you again soon.